What would you say is the optimal length for a video game? I guess it's heavily dependent on how much spare time you can put towards it and whether or not it can keep your attention for that long. But there's an intriguing factor in play when you go beyond simply beating a game. Anyone can do that. It's what you're expecting to do when you purchase a game and what the developers are presuming the average player wants to do. But what about a bit more? What if I want to play more of this game? Is it worth it? Replay value in single-player games supposedly carries a great deal of significance when you're looking at value for money, so you can spend a decent amount and get this much video game. Is that good? Is that enough? Or is it maybe too much? The harsh reality is that it's only ever going to be a small proportion of people who go hunting for 100% completion. It takes a special kind of mindset to tick all the boxes and find all of the things, especially because from the outset you have no idea what it will lead to at the end. If the thrill of finishing everything off isn't enough on its own, maybe some kind of ultimate reward will do it instead? A prize that not a lot of people will receive? What does that look like? I hope it's good, otherwise I'll be sad. The one type of 100% completion reward that I've never enjoyed in any game I've played is the true ending. You know, you spend a good chunk of time working towards the end of the game only to be rejected at the door and told to come back once you've put more work in. I find it stupid because you're making something that should be optional incredibly mandatory while completely upsetting the pace of the game. It seems like a desperate attempt to get people to care about every tiny part of a game, and that's asking a lot, really. I just want to play something like Dead Rising and screw around with zombies forever. I don't need a true ending to find meaning here. Dead Rising does have a true ending, but you can get it from just playing through the game as normal and doing a pretty good job of it. You don't have to kill like a whole load of zombies in order to get the true ending. But what that does do is open up a pathway for getting a prize if you can kill quite a lot of zombies, like a lot of zombies. Which isn't stretching too far when you think about it. Shooting and bashing zombies into a bloody mess is a pastime that you'll be well acquainted with by the time you start looking around for achievements that ask a bit more from you. The mark of 100% in Dead Rising is a little hard to pin down, but the Zombie Genocider achievement is a pretty good barometer of going above and beyond what is expected of you. You're required to beat the game, so there's an element of completion in there, but you must do so having previously killed, like, tens of thousands of zombies in the end. The actual number you need is exactly 53,594, so you'll be spending a lot of time running them down with the vehicle of your choice. But the reward for doing so is the Mega Buster from the Mega Mans. This is wonderful because you can already dress up like Mega Man, but the Mega Buster that they sell in the shop only shoots rubber balls. Being able to complete the set with a working arm cannon is wish fulfillment of the highest order. Don't tell me that Mega Man games shouldn't have zombies! I'm willing to die on that hill. Oh, and the oddly specific number of zombies that have to die in order to make this happen? The population of the town of Willamette, where the game takes place, is 53,594, so you're literally killing everybody in pursuit of this reward. Sounds like a completed game to me. Let's talk super weapons. It's a funky concept to think about and something that should only be hidden by 100% completion unless you want to ruin the difficulty in your game, but I've always wondered if they're worth the time to unlock them. Your reward for doing everything that can be done in a game is a weapon that kills everything in one shot, which I suppose is flashy to look at, but I often get the sense when I unlock these that I'm being told to go elsewhere. Kind of a "you've done everything in this game, please go play something else. I have nothing left to offer you." I almost feel bad about it, but then I'm reminded of how Majora's Mask handled this issue, and then everything makes sense again. Because, you see, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask did not require you to complete the game 100%. I know that's what this video is about, but it technically applies just on a smaller scale. This is a game all about collecting different kinds of masks, and I would say that finding all of them is a form of 100% completion. Nintendo thought so too, which is why at the end of the game, once you've given away all of your masks to the creepy children, you're given one final mask as compensation, I guess. I knew about the Fierce Deity mask back when I had a glossy strategy guide for this game, and it sounded amazing. You can don the form of this all-powerful warrior god who sounds and looks a lot like adult Link from Ocarina of Time, but instead he's got this sweet double helix sword that shoots laser beams, and yes, that is something I want. The only slight downside is that it's restricted to boss refights, but that does help keep some semblance of balance elsewhere in the game. Especially since you can feasibly unlock this mask without having every heart piece, so it doesn't interfere with that. Guess I'll have to settle for beating powerful bosses in seconds. I'm a little bummed out that other Zelda games didn't take inspiration from the Fierce Deity's mask. I'm not saying that every game needs an item that makes boss fights really easy, but it's a very effective way of showing how far you've come in that time. You have completed the game, you've gotten everything, and now boss fights are incredibly easy. I want to feel that power. I think regardless of what the reward is for completing a video game, a developer needs to be reasonable with what they expect the player to do in pursuit of this reward. Or, if the game in question is very large with lots of little things to do in order to get over the 100% completion line, either give out multiple rewards along the way or have no reward. Let's consider that for a second. If it's really tricky to complete a game, then I'd argue that no reward would be worth it, in both senses. Something about destination and journey and, don't stop believing. I don't know. The good news is that even when traditional Mario games have gone a bit crazy with the collectibles, 100% completion has always remained within sight. Maybe some of these levels will give you trouble and require a couple of goes, but you know what needs doing, and most importantly, Nintendo know that the average player will at least consider finding everything. And for many years, we've known that they've known that we'd give it a go. It's created some wonderful urban legends in that time. In the end, there's no way to play as Luigi in the original Super Mario 64, with your prize for finding every one of the 120 stars being the 100 extra lives that Yoshi gives you on top of the castle. It's kinda cool seeing Yoshi in 3D, but I just completed this game. I don't need more lives, thanks. Is this better than Mario Sunshine though, where every shine sprite and every blue coin gets you a postcard? Come back to me on that one. Thank fuck for Super Mario Galaxy understanding what, at least I want, for completing a 3D Mario game, since picking up all these stars nets you Luigi as a playable character. Not only a nice nod to Super Mario 64's myth, but a genuinely worthwhile prize on its own. With his reduced traction and higher jumps, Luigi plays just about different enough for me to want to go through the whole of this game again with a new playable character. Some of these stages are a lot easier with Luigi, some are quite a lot harder. Does more than any postcard I've ever seen. If you presume that not everyone is going to 100% your video game, you can tailor the reward for doing so to a specific audience, and then you just have to work out what is that audience. You have to imagine that there's someone who likes the game a lot, so maybe give them more of what they like at the end? I wouldn't do that. I mean, it does work in some cases, and I'll never turn down a game-breaking super weapon that makes every challenge completely trivial, but in 100%ing a game, you've done a special thing. It would be nice if it was rewarded by an equally special thing. In the past, I've seen these prizes take the form of bits of concept art or early background art, or anything to give you a better insight into the development of the game. I'm not sure if this was the case with Sonic Adventure 2, but I could see it. Wouldn't be too far-fetched. The Sonic Adventure games marked the first time that Sega tried bringing Sonic into a traditionally three-dimensional setting, and with such a dramatic shift in perspective, there were naturally a few very well-documented teething problems. I wouldn't have been surprised if Sonic Team got to grips with this new engine and physics properties by building a 3D Green Hill Zone, but a quick trip to the relevant wiki tells me that this level was cut for lack of time. Either way, it doesn't matter, because this is what you get for collecting all the emblems and setting A ranks across the board. It's not very challenging, and it's not as well built as the other levels in the game, but this is the first real instance of Sega and Sonic Team attempting to combine classic aesthetics with modern 3D gameplay. And I personally find this nugget of history fascinating. Never mind that there's been more failures than successes at combining the two aspects. You leave my bubble alone. Longer games have a hard time with their optional content. If you are dedicated enough to commit to 100%ing an RPG, for example, you have to be aware that doing so is gonna take hundreds of hours, and like I said before, no developer is banking on anyone being that devoted, so you either get an underwhelming reward or no reward. Not everyone out there is a completionist, and not everyone can grow the right caliber of beard, so additional content is handled with care and tempered expectations. Which is funny, because Pokemon had a slogan for a number of years that seemed to indicate that the developers were encouraging players to reach for 100%. You can't just say, gotta catch 'em all, and expect people to take it lightly. And that's where Game Freak somewhat dropped the ball. You have a couple of Pokemon games that goad you into doing and finding everything, and yet the prize at the end is a little screen commemorating that very fact. Which I guess is cool, but that is a lot of effort to receive something so lackluster. Sure, you caught 'em all, but no one cares? Why do you care? Maybe you shouldn't. But credit to the developers, because with the release of Black and White 2, everything changed. Now you had something to look forward to, rather than just bragging rights. What do you get the player who's found everything? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Shiny Charm. A reward for catching every Pokemon in the game that somehow provides justification to a feat that sorely needed it. The Shiny Charm is a passive item that trebles your chances of finding Pokemon with unique colorations, increasing the odds from 1 in 8,192 to 1 in 2,731, which still sounds a little rough, but from Gen 6 onwards, the base rate was doubled. So now with the Shiny Charm working its magic, the odds sit at 1 in 1,365, and that makes a difference. Making something so impossibly rare more attainable once you've filled the Pokédex is actually the best thing they could have possibly done. If you think about the other changes they've made to the shiny encounter rate through chain fishing and wormhole running, you can enter a world where rare things are considerably more common. And I like the sound of that. This being RabbidLuigi, and increasing the odds of finding shiny Pokemon is maybe the best 100% completion reward you could get, because the reward for doing something that not many people care about is an opportunity to find more special Pokemon that not many people care about, because shiny Pokemon are no different to regular Pokemon, but they are a physical achievement at overcoming long odds. Except this time, you earned that luck. Have you got an idea that you'd like me to turn into a countdown? Let me know in a comment down below, and make sure you check out my Twitter, where I'll be turning the best submissions into a poll where you can then decide the best topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.